Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Football Savant Podcast. I'm Travis Tyler. Today is our NFL preview show, so we'll be talking about some general headlines, general thoughts at the beginning, dive into some division by division preview talk, and if there's time at the end, we'll give some of our season predictions. Today, my guest is Bob Walters of the Locked Up Sports Podcast. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm looking forward to this. So we'll start just generally, yesterday was cut day throughout the league. Was there a player that was cut that you were particularly surprised didn't make a team?
Uh I wouldn't say a player that was cut that I was surprised of.
Uh-huh.
Um, cut day is more like a lot of times people get, you get down to that 53-man roster and that
Uh-huh.
you going into next week. They have a bye week this week, which they usually don't have. It's kind of like an extra week.
Right.
Like they usually go in, they play that last preseason game, and then there's not a full 2 weeks. I wouldn't say that there was anybody that was very surprising. I'm trying to think who got cut that was noteworthy. You know what? There was no big surprises. I didn't think.
Okay.
I know you're a Lions fan, so
Okay.
did you see anybody that they got rid of that you thought
Um,
that
I
should have made the team?
I did think that Justin Jackson, the running back who was with the Chargers before, would have made the roster over Jamar Jefferson, who made that team. But the ones that surprised me a little bit across the league, like OJ Howard got let go by the Bills. I thought he was gonna stick as a backup tight end there.
Yeah, see
And then
that didn't surprise me. That didn't surprise me.
yeah,
Howard, I kind of saw that coming with the Bills.
yeah,
I'll tell you what the biggest surprise this week was the punter with the Bills, the story that they had
yeah,
there.
yeah, that was
He's probably the best player to be cut this week
yeah,
with everything that was going on. They had no choice to get rid of him though with that story and it's a terrible story and it
yeah,
sounds like it's true. But I would say he was probably, and it's odd to say that a punter is
yeah.
the best player, but he was probably the best player to be cut.
Yeah. He may have been. And another one that I thought was surprised just because of the timing of it was Alex Leatherwood with the Raiders was the 17th overall pick last year, and they let him go. Just he wasn't good last year, but just being a first round pick in your second year in the league, you don't see that very often.
Well, I think what the Raiders wanted to do is they knew he wasn't playing well. They knew he wasn't
Right.
going to pan out. At this point, you're going to end up having to pay him. He's going to still look for money because he's still a
Hmm.
high first round pick. At that point, what are you going to do? You're going to get a fifth round pick for him, maybe if you're lucky. If
Right.
you could even if you could deal him off, they figured just cut him, get him
Yeah.
off the team. You don't want someone like that on the team. He's going to be start to whine. He's going to bitch and moan about not playing time. They get him off the team.
Yeah. And they have that whole regime change there too, so it made some sense for them to move on.
It's not their guy exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of moves made this offseason. What is one move that a team made that you're most intrigued by going into the year?
Let me see. Most intrigued by move go. I actually have notes here about that. Let me see. You know, I would have. I'm trying to think. What's the best move the New York teams made no moves really, no real big moves. The Jets. It's more like the drafts coming in. The
Uh-huh.
Jets had a good draft coming in. As far as moves going, you know what? I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank right now. What's the biggest surprise move that you would say? Because I don't think there was really. I mean, many Brady coming back would probably be a huge move because he was gone, and then Brady
Yeah.
coming back. And then I also think the leaving of Arians when Arians was that this year? Yeah, that was
Yes,
this year.
yes, yeah.
Arians leaving, and I think Tampa is going to be is not going to be as good as they are. Todd Bowles is kind of gets he was handing the job to Todd Bowles. I would say the coaching move is one of the bigger moves. I'd also
Yeah.
say the wide receiver leaving the Packers. Um, that's a big move. Aaron Rodgers is gonna miss him. Those are probably the biggest moves I would say that happened.
Yeah, that the Davante Adams move was the one that I was
Devontae
about to
Adams,
say when
that's
you
his
were
name.
asking. Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was just for some reason I blanked on Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But yeah, him leaving and the Packers are still going to be good though. Aaron Rodgers is always there. He's the best quarterback. He's the MVP coming off an MVP season. I think he's going to miss him. He's not going to have as much production, but I think that would probably be my biggest move, along with Todd Bowles stepping in as coach.
Right. So as a Giants fan, we'll segue into here. Let's start talking about the NFC East a little bit. I think most would be able to agree over the past couple of years that the Cowboys have been the best team out there and the Eagles have done the most to their roster. Have the Eagles done enough to become the top team in that division?
I think the Eagles are the favorite in the NFC East. I think the Cowboys are second. And then I think there's a big drop off when you get down to the Commanders and the Giants. I do think the Eagles are the best team in the division now. I do. I think the Giants are terrible. The Giants don't have a quarterback. They're lost. They're kind of in purgatory. They're in quarterback purgatory, which is the worst possible spot you could be in the NFL. Do we have a quarterback? Do we not have a quarterback? I don't think they have the quarterback. The Commanders, that whole, we could sit here for an hour on that franchise. Just everything from the
huge debacle,
the lowest parking attendant to the owner is a disaster.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, they never win big in a big spot. The Cowboys will have a decent regular season. They might sneak in and win the division. It's going to come down to the head-to-head games,
Yeah.
If the Eagles are a better team. I think only one team probably comes out of the NFC East. It's probably going to be the division winner, and that's going to be it. The NFC East has been bad for a while now,
Yes.
You had 2 years ago, you had a 7-win team win the division. Was that 2 years? 2 years ago, you had a 7-win team win the division. The Giants almost won the division. If the Eagles didn't lay down in that last game, the Giants win the division, which is a travesty. So, I mean, I do. I think the Eagles have done enough. I think they got the defense. I think the Cowboys defense is struggling. I think I think the Eagles win that division. I think they're favored at least. Maybe, and it could be it could be a 9-win division winner.
Right. You don't need to win a lot of games out there.
No, which is not the way it's always been. It's always been the NFC East. At least my whole life growing up, it's been the NFC East, the power, run game, defense, cold football, win like that. And it's not like that anymore. It's one of the worst divisions in the NFL.
Yeah. So with your Giants, how long does Daniel Jones last this season? Like, do they move on during the season or?
Yeah, listen. If it was up to me, he'd be out last week. I'd have Tyrod. I'd have Taylor in there. I think he gives you the best chance to win the games. I think Daniel Jones. He's just not. Listen, I said it before. If you're gonna pick someone from Duke, if you're drafting someone from Duke, you better be a basketball team.
Yeah.
Okay. If you drafted someone from Duke, be a basketball. Look, the Knicks drafted a good guy from Duke.
Yeah.
R.J. Barrett. He's a basketball player. Giants. Listen, they did it before. They did it with Dave Brown. I grew up with Dave Brown. It's just not it. He's not good. I don't know what they saw in him. He throws a good deep ball every once in a while, but he has some mobility, but he's not fast.
Right.
He's not like the other running quarterbacks. He embarrassed himself with tripping over the 30-yard line that one time. It's been enough time. I would go with Taylor to start the season. You're not going to win much this season anyway.
Okay.
They're not going to if they were going to pick up the fifth year option, it would have been done already. Let's be real. They're not picking that up. Okay. I think the Giants, the worst thing that can happen with the Giants is they have an average season, 500, somewhere around there, because then they'll be like, well, we were a bad team. Maybe Daniel Jones won us some games. Maybe he's the future, and they actually pay him. I think that's the worst possible thing, because then you're going to set yourself back another 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah,
they've already set themselves back 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, you stick yourself in purgatory even further. At that point. Yeah.
Well, between that and with the running back, when you draft the running back, I said it before, and he needed to be Barry Sanders to make that worth. You don't take a running back that high. Running backs are very interchangeable in this NFL. You can win with an average running back. A lot of times they pick up running backs off the scrap heap, and the team will go deep in the playoffs and they'll have a good run. It's your offensive line, and I don't want to hear about the offensive line with the Giants either anymore. I'm sick of it, because you know what? There's teams with worse offensive lines, and quarterbacks figure it out. Figure out a way to win the game. Yeah. All right, go win the game. Like I said that about the Jets this first week. Jets have a big game this first week. Baltimore.
Yeah,
they're underdogs. They shouldn't win that game, but go win the damn game. You got to win some games. Eventually, you got to win some games.
Yeah.
And the Jets, the Giants, they don't do that. I think in the running back, he's a good player. He's an okay player. He's good. They don't have an offensive line. I don't know. The Giants, the Giants the last 6-7 years, they're a disaster. They're a disaster. And the Jets look okay.
Yeah,
But
that's little different than what I'd heard about the Jets. But
right, you're right. And I think the Jets are going to be better than most people do. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team really,
right.
but I do think they're going to be. They have to be good. Listen, you got to eventually start winning some games. You can't just always be rebuilding and switching quarterbacks and switching coaches, and that's what the Jets do. It's an endless cycle of switching quarterbacks and switching coaches. Baltimore's beatable in week 1. They're beatable. Will it be an upset? Yeah, it'd be an upset, but go win a damn game. And as far as the Giants go, listen, win 2 or 3 games this year, get rid of the quarterback, tear it down, start over. This is a free year for the GM and the coaching staff. This is going to be a free year for the Giants.
Yeah.
Go lose the game. Put Tyrod Taylor in. He's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah, he's a serviceable veteran at the worst.
Think the Jets? What do you think of the Jets? The Jets 5 wins.
Yeah, that's definitely easily doable. I think for them, but I think they're I would say they're an offseason away from being able to actually try to be competitive. So,
you're not in New York. In New York, you can't try to be competitive.
Right.
These Jets fans are sick and tired of it. I mean,
go win having some kind of hope. Yeah.
Well, they got the Bills. Listen, they got the Bills in the division. There's a tough division. They're not winning. The Bills are going to win that division. Let's be real. I think the Patriots are somewhat improved, and the Dolphins. I think Tua. I think Tua's okay. I think Tua can be a quarterback in this league. He was rated very high coming in. They don't like his size, but sometimes a player can overcome his size. I think Tua's going to be okay. Now, the Dolphins don't think Tua's going to be okay. They were tampering with teams just to get rid of him. They were tampering to get Tom Brady and stuff. So, but, I think Tua's okay, but the Bills are the class of that division.
Yeah. So on that, does Tua take another step this year, or is he just about to get buried, basically?
That's a good question. I think he takes a step. I think the Dolphins will be a little bit better. I think he takes a step forward because Tua's got talent. He had talent. He was the best player in the country at Alabama. He does throw good. I mean, his size, I guess it's a detriment, and his accuracy needs improvement. But I think he'll play better. The Dolphins have a terrible offensive line.
Yeah,
they had a worse offensive line than the Giants did. And look what he did. He won some games.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones, take note. He won some games. He's got a worse offensive line than you
did.
So it's doable. It's a quarterback league. I think Tua's gonna. Is he gonna be a star in the league? No, he'll never be a star in the league, and I don't think he'll be a Dolphin forever either. I don't think he's gonna be a Dolphin very long.
Okay,
but I do think he will play better, and I think he'll probably next year land on another team, and he'll be a serviceable quarterback in the league.
Yeah, you have a team in mind for him, or just a hunch?
The Giants. Yeah, no. Do I have a team in mind for Tua? No, you know what? No, you have no idea now.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about next year with the NFL, you have no idea. You can't talk about next year.
Right. That's exactly why I asked the question.
I just think no, because Miami seems sick of him already. You know? They do. Miami, the organization seems like they kind of they want you. We want you, but we don't want you here. You're our guy, but you're not our guy. When they're secretly making talks to try and get other quarterbacks in here. I think though, I mean, listen, if you're going to want to play football anywhere, Miami's the spot to play. It's 80 degrees. It's a good quarterback. It's good quarterback weather. It's better than up here. Go talk to Eli or Phil Simms or any of these Eagles quarterbacks through the years. The Northeast is not really where you want to play. And he's a warm weather guy. He came from Alabama. So I think he'll play better. I do think he'll play better.
Sticking in that division, the Patriots lost Josh McDaniels as their offensive coordinator. They're going through this whole shuffle with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as the candidates. Who do you think gets that job, and are they going to be taking a huge step back on offensively?
Listen, I don't think they'll take a huge step back. No, okay. I think Joe Judge, is one of those guys who Yeah, he came here and he wasn't a good coach. The long list of people who are good coordinators, they're not head coaches though. Head coaches is a different breed. You know, I think Matt Patricia is probably the better choice, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But that's who I would take. I would take Matt Patricia, but I think they'll be okay. I don't think it'll be a big step back. I think the quarterback there in New England, he's good, he's solid. They're going to take a step. You know, they're coming off a dynasty, so there's always going to be a step back. You know, so they could afford a couple losing seasons. They're not going to have a losing season. They're going to be all right. They're not going to compete with the Bills, but I think they can compete for a playoff spot and, you know, sneak in there and maybe win a game.
Okay. That sounds about what I would around what
who would you go with? Who would you go with?
Well, as a Lions fan, I'm kind of sick of Patricia. Like I'm not a fan of Patricia at all.
You don't like the pencil in the ear look of the
especially with how horrible his defenses were when he ended up in Detroit compared to what he had before, and he was supposed to be a defensive genius, and he's been an offensive line coach, I guess, before, but he's never really been an offensive coach either. So that would all that would concern me.
I mean, I think the Belichick tree is nothing, you know, like the Parcells tree that he comes from. But I mean, Patricia, you know, he's looking to prove himself. He's got to prove himself as a coordinator to get another job. Like he kind of, you know, he nosedived that Lions team. They were supposed to be good.
Awful. They
had good teams. Too. You know, it was an awful. You know, you lost your one good quarterback you had. He goes and wins the Super Bowl. Yeah, listen, I feel for you as a Lions fan. I got to tell you that much. I feel for you.
He tanked that.
I at least got Super Bowls.
Yeah, we got nothing. I'm 29 years old.
That's a You've never
seen a playoff win.
But you know what? You know what though? It'll come. It'll come eventually. Because you know what? When I was growing up, it was the Saints. There was always a big thing. The Saints had never won a playoff game. And look, they got a couple. You know, they got their quarterback, they got their coach, and the rest is history. So eventually, but you had your quarterback.
Yeah,
you had Stafford. You went through Barry Sanders, never winning anything. You know, you had the receivers. You have a Hall of Fame wide receivers. You know, it's just the Lions a snake bit. That's what it is.
They can never build a team. They never make good decisions around their best players. It's just, I don't know. And
they tie up your Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah,
they ruin your Thanksgiving every year. They usually win that game though. They're usually long out of it, but they'll play well in that game.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, they play well in that game.
I'm optimistic, not necessarily this year, but with the current coaching staff and the GM that they have in building something. So that at least they have that going.
Hey, look, you got to be out now. You got to be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
The NFL. It's an overreaction league. As far as the fans go, it's overreaction. Next week, or I guess a week from this Monday, is the biggest overreaction day in the sports calendar. It's going to be half the fans think their team will never win a game. The other half of the fans will think their team is going to never lose a game. And it's everybody jumping off a cliff or packing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Screaming for their coach's job.
Forget it. You know, at least it's better in college. You know, college, you lose that first game, a lot of times you're out.
Yeah.
You know, you don't stand a chance.
Right. So let's stick in the NFC North now with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers loses Davante Adams. What do you make of the Packers receiving core right now with all those young players that, you know, there's been reports that he's not totally pleased with how they're progressing.
I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers is a lightning rod. He likes the attention. He'll just put stuff out there. I think he just puts stuff out there because he wants the attention. He's a little crazy. He's a little nutty with the whole, you know, vaccine, this and that he went off on the Joe Rogan. Listen, if you go on the Joe Rogan podcast, you're going to be a little nutty. But and you know, it wasn't right what he did last year either with the I was inoculated thing. Let's just throw that out. But as far as the receiver, listen, he's a great player. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. Either me or you have ever seen. He's one of he's top 3 or 4 at least.
As much as I can't stand him, I think, you know, admit that. Yeah,
it is. Listen, it is what it is. You can't not admit it. You know, he went out there last year after all that, and he had the MVP season.
Yeah.
So he's coming off an MVP. He's Is he going to? I think the receiver. He's going to make the receivers better. I think the receivers. They got good speed on the receiving core. They, like you said, they're young. He can fit the ball in anywhere, though. You don't have to be open for Aaron Rodgers to get it to you. You don't really know if they're going to drop passes and stuff. You don't know if someone coming in the league is going to be a pass dropper or not. There are guys who just they end up not being good. They don't have good hands. They don't catch the ball. But I think Aaron Rodgers will be fine. I think the Packers will be fine. And I think he's probably going to drop off. He's not going to have an MVP season, but I do see the Packers they'll be fine. He'll be fine with that receiving core.
Yeah, I mean, that's their division, right? There's nobody that's going to challenge them at all.
No. People are saying the Bears and stuff. Listen, the Bears aren't ready. They're not ready to do anything. I've heard the Bears are going to be better. And I actually heard Greeny on ESPN asking that is there a possibility the Bears could be a playoff team? And I'm like, no, that's their division. Listen, the Vikings, nobody's good in that division. That's going to be a 17-week coronation of the Packers.
How many do we win this division by, basically?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, your Lions, they're nothing.
I'm not that
Vikings.
I'm optimistic, but not that optimistic.
No. You got to wait till Aaron Rodgers leaves.
Yeah,
you got about young receiver. Aaron Rodgers could get me and you 100 catches.
Yeah.
All right. He can get us 100. He'll be all right. They'll be all right with whoever he throws out there. Aaron Rodgers will be just fine. And like you said, it'll come down to what they do in January.
Yeah. I think with what you were saying with the Bears, I honestly, offensively, I think they're the worst team in the division. I don't see a lot around there.
And there's still all kinds of questions at quarterback. Listen, the Bears are in the same kind of garbage cycle that the Giants and that the Lions are in. It's just it's the same kind of thing. The Bears can never be, as far as they're concerned, the Bears are never good.
Yeah.
That 85 is a long time ago. And those defenses that they used to have, and the Jim McMahon, and that's the last time. I mean, the Bears won the Super Bowl, I guess, but they won it with who was their quarterback that when they won the Super Bowl? Was it
Rex Grossman?
Rex Grossman. I was gonna say Rex Grossman.
They didn't win the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They went to the Super Bowl. That's right. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost to Peyton Manning, right? They lost to Peyton Manning. That's right. But that even those teams were no good. Those weren't good Bears teams. Rex Grossman, Florida.
They went to the Super Bowl on their defense.
Exactly, but they've always gone to the Bears are a defensive team. That's what the Bears do. That's what the Giants do. The Giants do defense. The Bears do defense. And the quarterback's a question. Like I said, the Bears are no good. They're going to be an under 500. They'll be third in the division. It'll be
for
Packers,
some reason.
Vikings.
For some reason, there's always an overreaction that they're the Bears. They must be good for a lot of seasons.
Yeah, but you're getting to the point now where they're not. It's not like now they're the Bears. They must be bad.
Yeah,
because things change like that. Like there's a whole generation of fans now that have never seen the Bears really. Be a defensive, juggernaut in that division. It's all been the Packers. The Packers are always good. There's certain teams that are just always good. The Packers are always good.
Yep.
The Cardinals in baseball are always good.
Yeah.
There's teams like that. They're just, no matter what they do, no matter who puts on that uniform, they're good. Packers, I mean, come on. They went from Favre to Rodgers. The 49ers, from Montana to Young.
Yeah. They get that kind of luck. The stuff drops right in their lap.
yeah. Guys like me and you don't get that luck. Whether it's with women or it's with our teams. We don't have that kind of luck.
So we covered the NFC North. And what about the South? You mentioned that you expect Tampa to take a step back. Is it still their division, or is the gap?
Yes. I think it's still their division. It's still their division. Listen, until I see Tom Brady not do it, I'm not. Yeah. He's got to drop off one of these years. He's got to. I don't think there was any personal issue with Tom Brady in the preseason, him not showing up. I think he was basically called the team and said, listen, I'm not coming. I'll be there. Week one. I'll know what I'm doing. I'm Tom Brady. I'm not coming to this training camp again. I'm not doing it. Strahan kind of did it with the Giants. He did it as a lockout, as a holdout. He had a fine season. Tom Brady's going to be just fine. Now, is this the year that he falls off? Is this maybe? But he's still going to be Tom Brady. And he's not even, maybe they don't win 12, maybe they don't win 13 games, but I think it's their division. I mean, there's really not. They're going to win that division, I think. What do you think? You think there's a team that closed the gap?
I still think it's a pretty big gap, especially with New Orleans would be the team that you would say would be the closest, and they've got that.
Yeah,
They struggled on offense last year. They have Jameis Winston at quarterback, and I don't trust. Dennis Allen is their coach now. He's definitely not Sean Payton, especially
no.
from those
And
Vegas day, or I guess they were Oakland back then. But
yeah. And Jameis Winston could be the best quarterback in the league today, and next Sunday he could be, he could throw 4 picks and he could go 4 for 10 in the first quarter with 3 picks.
Yeah.
That Jameis Winston's that kind of player. He's like a lightning ball type player. He throws a good deep ball. He runs her. He's crazy. He's a lunatic. He's a lunatic on the field. He's a lunatic off the field. But and he's going to win them some games, but he's going to lose them some games too. And
that's what he does.
That's kind of quarterback. That's what he does. He'll either throw 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, or he'll throw 110 yards with 4 picks.
Right.
That's just the type of player he is. And that's not, when you're inconsistent like that in the quarterback position, it's not a winning, it's not a winning formula, I don't think.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's going to be consistent. That's one thing about Tom Brady is he's going to be consistent.
Yeah, and
he's not going to.
The intelligence is going to always be there.
For
Brady. Yeah. Even if he gets to a point where he's not physically the same player, which
he's not physically. He probably hasn't been physically the same player. He wasn't great in their Super Bowl year. He wasn't great. He was but you know what? Nobody even noticed that he wasn't that great.
Right.
When you dig into the numbers, you can see that he's falling off a little bit. But when you're watching the game, it's still Tom Brady. He's still hitting his receivers. He might be dinking and dunking down the field, but he's going to beat you.
Yeah. I just meant like if his physical abilities digress even more was what I was getting at.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's eventually going to happen. I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to say that it's this year.
No, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone wants that guy. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, this is probably his last year. Has he announced that this is his last year?
He didn't say it, but
it's said without said, right?
I think the writing's on the wall because he did retire a couple months ago. So.
Obviously, but I think Giselle wants no part of it. She wants him home.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Certainly,
I think. Yeah. Because he'll play till he's 60 if they let him. I think he loves it. I don't think he wanted to retire. That's why he came back.
Yeah.
Said, hey, listen, we need you home. I want you. And he outsmarted her and talked his way into playing one more season. That's what happened there. But I think they'll win the division. I think. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to pick them for the Super Bowl, but they'll win the division. And you can't count them out in the playoff game either. I'm not going to pick against them.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're running a little short on time here, so I'm going to start combining a couple of divisions, if that's all right with you.
Go for it.
Let's talk the West in both conferences. They're both really strong divisions. How many playoff teams do you see coming from each one of those divisions?
Well, I mean, the West, you got the Chargers, you got the Chiefs. I think both of them are going to be in it. I think Denver is picked by a lot of people as one of the better teams, the biggest improved team. The Rams, they're the defending champs,
right?
And then you got. Hold on one second. I want to see because what do you think about San Francisco? I don't see San Francisco. Arizona's all over the place with their quarterback and this and that. But I think the Rams. So I think it's going to be 2 teams. I think it's the Rams and the Niners.
Okay.
In the West, in the NFC West, and I think it's the Chiefs, the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be my sleeper pick. I think the quarterback's the best quarterback. He's going to be the best quarterback in the league after this year. And I think the Chargers win the AFC West, and I think the Rams, it'll be the Rams division, and I think the Niners will make it as well.
Okay. Yeah.
You like the Cardinals?
I have not so much. I mean, the past couple years, they always, they get off these hot starts and they just kind of cool off at the end, and they're not the same team.
And Seattle's going to be not going to be very good.
Seattle's going to be awful. Quarterback.
Yeah. So I've seen Geno Smith. Geno Smith replaced Eli Manning. All right.
Yeah,
that's who replaced
Eli
Manning.
Spent some time in New York, so he was definitely familiar.
Yeah. But I mean, Arizona and San Francisco, I think so. I listen. It's the Rams. The Rams are defending champs. It's tough to knock off the champs. They got your quarterback. They got your boy. He's just hitting his stride. Let me ask you a quick question about Stafford. Is he a Hall of Famer? I say yes.
I would say yes. I thought all he was missing when he was in Detroit was the
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
In the Super Bowl.
Okay,
exactly.
Do you think he was a playoff Hall of Famer before last year? I would say yes.
Statistically, yes, but a lot of people want to see the playoff success in the Super Bowls, and that's what was holding them back.
The NFL puts everybody in. The NFL puts everybody in. They have to. There's like a minimum every year.
Yeah.
The NFL puts everybody in. They do. If you're borderline, you're getting in. And I'm a tough Hall of Fame guy. I'm tough grader. Like I don't want you like. There's a lot of players in NFL and. Like another one, Devin Hester, he's a Hall of Famer in my view.
Yeah,
do you think?
No,
you don't think so.
Absolutely. I mean, that's
not as a wide receiver. He's not going in as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
he was electric as a kick returner.
One of the best returners of all time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think probably the best, right?
Yeah.
So I would absolutely put him
best
in.
I've seen, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, they weren't returning kicks like that before our time. All right. But go ahead. Do we have another division we got to do?
Yeah. I think the last ones that we have left are the AFC North and the AFC South.
The AFC North Browns are an improved team. I think the Browns are going to be good, even without the quarterback for what 12 weeks now. They got him. I think the Browns are still good. They're good. They got a good defense. That I think can hold them in. I think the NFL is trying to make it so the Browns don't make the playoffs this year. But I think the Browns and the Bengals, I think the Browns could challenge the Bengals. I think the Bengals will win the division, but the Browns can challenge them. If the Browns can stay 500 until he comes back, maybe 1 or 2 games over. If they can go 8-4 in those 12 games, I think they'll have a chance. Watch for Cincinnati was a bit. I don't want to say lucky. They're a good team, but I think they played a little above their head last year.
Yeah.
And I think the Browns will keep it close at least, but the Cincinnati will win that division. And what was the other division you asked me about?
The AFC South.
Titans,
did
we do the AFC South?
I don't think we talked about them.
I like the Titans. I think the Titans are a good team. Okay. I do. I like the Titans to win that division.
Even without AJ Brown.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I've always been somewhat of a Titans fan, like a closet Titans fan. So I think I'm going to go a little surprised there, and I'm going to say the Titans in that division.
Okay. I'd say they're still the best team in the division. It's just my question mark would be the AJ Brown spot where they're asking Treylon Burks to do a lot as a rookie.